Hello, my name is Troublemaker. This is the Wargame Cup 2012, brought to you by UGen Systems and Intel. And today we have another little treat. Another Pact versus Pact, which should be quite rare, but actually we've seen two of them in a row. I was actually expecting to see more NATO versus NATO, but this is just how the brackets worked out. So, representing the color blue today, we in fact have a walking billboard of some sorts. His name is IceRadioUSA.net. I actually decided to check out the website, see what it's all about, and it's a black guy, and he's a DJ. That's kind of cool. And representing the color red, also Pact, we have FulgorAlt. So we got Fulgor versus Ice, and that's what I'm gonna call them. We're on the folded gap, and I like to do some amateur stuff, like I said before, because I just like to see if these guys develop. I mean, if you have two crappy players, one crappy player goes ahead, and potentially he might turn into something decent. With a tournament of 1,200 people, you're going to have a breakdown that goes 1,200, 600, 300, 150. So you got roughly 4 matches before you get into some really heavy competition. Of course, that's not true of everyone. We have had a few 1,800 versus 1,800 matches happen so far, but it's true of most. And so with the Fulgor, we've seen he's taken a lot of infantry and is in fact trying to take a position on Kilo. And we see that looks like a mirror attempt here, but we got some Colos leading up front. Maybe not the best unit to lead the charge. They're of course much faster than most units. And we have another command here with some army going for India. So he's going Charlie, Kilo, India. And we see here that Ice is actually going to continue pushing forward. Looks like he wants Kilo pretty badly. He has maintained Gulf. This line is not a good reinforcement line, of course. So there's already a pretty big disadvantage for Ice, as he's throwing artillery at what random location. The T-80s are running right into the modal strategy. Oh no, don't do this to me. Not so early in the game. I'm supposed to be chatting you guys up a bit at least. But it looks like this rush is actually going to push through and do quite a bit of damage. Ice Radio USA does not take any considerable damage because most infantry was actually anti-infantry. And the PTR Faggot is actually moving up to try and do some damage. The BMPs also trying to do some damage, but not very effective against tanks. Of course, the PTR Faggot needs to be at quite a large range. They do outrange tanks, but looks like this opening from Fulgor not doing so hot. He's moving to the Moto Cherokee to try and snipe some units. And we got some crazy urban combat going on here as all the poor infantry are getting shot down. There's of course a long range of fire here, and they're just getting gunned down and brutally murdered. It's only these 4 PTR faggots and 2 Pizrikigla squads here. Now he still has position here at Kilo, but he doesn't quite have a command in a good position, and he's actually running it away. And I just sneeze, so I'm gonna pause. Don't you just hate it when you have this kind of scenario happening where one guy's doing a crazy rush and one guy's trying to defend, and then the guy pauses it on you? Yeah, it sucks. This rush doing a lot more damage than I thought it would do. These T-80Us have been paying out in bulk. These cavalry tanks in the background sniping out these BTRs left and right. The command is forced to retreat. There is a small group of Moto Strevki and Bizukiglas here. Of course, where Ice goes from this is kind of problematic. He is losing some units now. He is going down in points. These trades become less and less effective. The PTR frigates, of course, have come into the mix and have been firing very effectively, adding up lots of points. And they're actually running out of rockets. That's how well they've been doing, just picking up units. And now they're actually out, so they will probably die to just a single tank. As the Prizigiglas run away. Of course, a very useless unit for this. They only have anti-air weapons. And it looks like for now we have Kilo maintained by IceRadioUSA.net and Gulf. So it's like I said, a very weird reinforcement path. He has to go this way, all along here, and that's just really far away to reinforce. It's not really an all-in because he has 2 commands. I mean, he has some kind of concern for macro, but you know, the style of play is definitely very all-in-ish. Whereas if this rush had done nothing, it would have failed. In fact, he's actually pushing too much and losing a lot to this group of Moto Strelkies, which are just actually kind of coming back to the game for him. But T-80U is winding up against a single command armor. If he can chase us down, that'd be huge. So the match is actually completely flipped around, mostly because of bad misstep. And this is okay. It's some serious talk. When you're looking at a top-end game, they always do this. They always put like at least one infantry in every single town on this map. So there's, you know, the one here, one here, one here, one here, and you always have like just one infantry. And that's because one infantry in one of these locations, if something's just walking on by and it's not an infantry or an anti-infantry vehicle, this happens. 520 points. That's very, very scary. But this Moto Strelky has definitely paid off, and suddenly Fulgor is looking less like a chump. So, game on. Moving on, looks like we have a T-80U pushing up, trying to get at this command. There is a Sturm 5 and a T-55 AMV. Of course, the T-80 should beat this, but it doesn't. Oh my god, that was so expensive. And he's just going to continue pushing forward. He took an early lead. He looked like he was going to win the whole game, and now he's just throwing it all away because he wants to finish this fast. If you can see a consistent difference between a good player and an average player, when a good player is winning, they hold their position and they do better. This guy's just keeping a rush. He's actually got I believe this is a VLV, but oh, it's actually got hit and it's coming down, so he's gonna lose. No, it's Spetsnaz. That could be kind of useful, but not really. But he has lost his entire front line. There's still a Moto Strelcy here. It is being taken out by a Kolos of all things, which is a little bit funny. I don't think the Kolos can actually take it out, but the Recon is coming in as well. The Recon will probably also get taken out, and suddenly FulgorAlt is way ahead. He is so far ahead. There's actually a gunship helicopter here that he can easily take out. The only problem for FulgorAlt right now is he doesn't have a ton of units, but the good news is that Ice Radio USA pretty much has no units. So I smell a slowdown in the game. That's what I smell here. And he's got another one of these helicopters going to land off some Spetsnaz here, and the Spetsnaz should be able to deal with these Moto Strelkies quite effectively. And yeah, looks like it's dead. So he's finally secured Kilo. Unfortunately for him, it looks like Fulgor has taken the middle, taken the close entry point, and the far entry point. So that's 4, 2, and 2. And oh, he just lost another gunship helicopter. 2 of these book me, which rhymes with my favorite swear. Book me. Going to be a little bit of a slowdown in the game, as both players are kind of in this awkward situation where they don't really have a lot of units, but far more awkward for IceRadioUSA.net, who kind of threw away the game, and less awkward for FulgorAlt, who is just really trying to macro up. And he's got a lot of resources. As far as it goes, Golf and Kilo do not beat control of the India. And plus, it's a really messed up location. Really messed up. Like, how is he gonna? What's he gonna attack with this? Where? It's just really bizarre. And the Kolos are actually leading the charge again. And this is a free Kolos for, or maybe it's just a return Kolos. I don't know. There comes a Strop as well, anti-aircraft. Maybe we're seeing some more thrown away units. I'm not sure what the plan here is. Interestingly enough, as well, it looks like there's 2 FOBs for Fulgor, who was actually planning to play a pretty long game, and then Ice Radio shows up and goes like, "Sup, I want to kill you right off the bat, just like I did my last opponent." Here's a weird situation, and it's an easy one. If Fulgor was to get a lot of helicopters right now, he could just win the game. 6 here to take out this command, 6 over this way to take out this command, because there's really no defense for these commands. He can't afford using this IceRadioUSA.net style. He has effectively lost all of his units. I like to take this time to do a little wrap a rap tribute to iceradiousa.net. Could I get some beatbox? Anybody do a little bit of beep? Thank you. All right, let's go. His name is iceradiousa.net. He met up with Fulgor, and now he is dead. He thought he was the awesome guy who lived on the radio, but all he was a juggalo. I'm terrible. Alright. On to the game. We have the Spetsnaz moving up. Not quite an effective vehicle. These guys, of course, are fairly good at sniping. We have another cluster. Oh no, too close. Caught off guard. And didn't even get a chance to evacuate the precious cargo. As it goes swirling, crashing. Oh, Spetsnaz have landed. Not in the best location. Actually, it's kind of a weird location because this allows him to kind of like snipe units as they go by. That was definitely not planned. And here's what I'm talking about. Spetsnaz versus anti-tank team. This is the kind of traits that Ice Radio USA should have done a long time ago. Unfortunately, Conkers are running away. He got one down. That's pretty good. And when a game goes like this, it's just really a matter of time for Fulgor to really line up his stars and really get the right unit composition. And by the way, the right unit composition for this is just get a freaking ton of helicopters and start sniping out commands. Oh, we see, in fact, we have some helicopters crossing the middle of the map as a fairly large team of infantry are pushing south as well simultaneously. So this has actually been scouted. I'm not sure really what iceradiousa.net is doing. And in fact, there's some Prizik Ilgalas here going to fire onto this and might be able to knock it down. This is getting kind of dangerous. At least one of those will go down, and even here, I just don't know where. Is he purposely just throwing units away? I'm confused. Maybe he's trying to snatch these FOBs? You know, like... He should, like... You know, instead of playing Wargame European Escalation, he should make me a crazy tune, because he's a DJ apparently according to his website, and then I could use that as like my entry themes. If only I had my own DJ. He is microing this one. No, he's rooting this one back. But yeah, like with helicopters, you gotta kind of micro them a bit. This Bukmi is actually completely out of rockets. It's moving to its own FOB just so it can, you know, fuel up. The BMP is actually chased by these Spetsnaz accidentally. Just units that are being rallied forward. And look at this 4 artillery. This is what I'm talking about with expensive units being purchasable. And this the big crime here for Ice Radio is that he's trying to rally units from here probably to like here. So he has to cross all the middle every single time. Whereas if he was at Lima or Mike or Juliet, he would have been more successful with this kind of tactic. Although I don't think this tactic had a lot of hope in the first place. And here comes the self-propelled Malkas. There's not really a lot of units on the map, and as far as choices go, choosing to get these artillery is actually not that valuable. And I mean, yeah, like he doesn't know what's on the map, but he knows it can't be much because he's got this massive lead. A lot of people are very fearful of just getting a lot of helicopters, mostly because it's pretty risky. If you lose, you can lose a lot of helicopters relatively easy to anti-aircraft units, and it's also really easy to deploy anti-aircraft units. And so a lot of people just don't like doing that. But we do see an artillery barrage takes out a single landed helicopter. That is unfortunate. Fortunately, it doesn't really have any eyes here, except for this Pizzigiglus and PTR packets, which of course he only has to step forward and he can kill this command. It's these insanity things that just drive you nuts when you see this, and they're not acting, and you're sitting there like pounding your keyboard, going like, why don't you move forward? More helicopters coming from Ice Radio, who has not got the message that there is in fact a lot of anti-aircraft units here, as he runs right through all of them and down again. I just don't know what to say from here. I'm pretty Ice Radio isn't super terrible, but right now he's just throwing it all away. He's not leaving himself a chance to come back. And when you're behind like this, there's really only two ways to really win it. One is entrench yourself and hope the enemy makes mistakes. And the second is do a second all in. I like to do a second all in because at that point you can know whether you should continue or not. Some helicopters. Looks like they got some smoke on them. As the final shot comes down and great special effects there. Interesting enough, this Spetsnaz might be fortunate enough to catch off this command off guard. And he's actually just rallying more units towards his command. Does he actually see it? Is that a good question? He does see it. He knows it's there. And these BTRs are randomly moving towards... Oh, he knows the Spetsnaz is there. BTRs are coming to clean it up, though. And really, if he loses one of these BTRs to these Spetsnaz, that's not a bad thing. He's actually evacuating them. I would have engaged that myself, just to protect that command. Sometimes you gotta take losses for strategic points. It's just how the game goes. He actually moved back to get cover, which, you know, is actually a little bit smarter than what I was saying. As these Spetsnaz special forces are still alive. BTR does have superior range, though. It does unload onto the Spetsnaz. Where, oh, sitting there. Oh, there's so few forces on the map. And here comes more and more helicopters from Ice Radio. Oh, this is actually going to be a lucky hit. And by lucky, I mean totally skillful. Because it looks like he's going to take it as command for fairly low cost. He's not even using rockets. He just has machine guns on this one. Oh, it does have rockets. It just hasn't winded up yet. And here we go. Looks like the command will go down any second now. Come on, game. Don't prove me wrong. You know, I've never noticed this animation here. There's actually shells dropping to the ground from the helicopter. I just thought I'd throw that there. And the command is actually in full retreat, like gone super crazy mode. And, you know, Ice Radio is kind of carving out. And he's actually doing to Fulgor what I thought Fulgor should do to him, which is go around sniping commands. And here he goes again into the main base. Probably not going to be as successful because there is anti-aircraft here, but he could take out a lot of artillery units here. There are 4 of them, and it looks like he's going for the supply, which is unfortunate because that gives the opportunity that Fulgor needs to eliminate these things. He doesn't actually have that much anti-aircraft here. Well, there's some Przygiglas in a bad position here, but here comes the fire on the artillery. Can he save his artillery? That's the real question here. All the while, we have something else going on over here. Oh, looks like he's finally going to go for this command. The command is being pulled just in time. You can obviously give chase. These 4 artillery are stunned, all panicked, one shaken. One of the helicopters is down. It's a Bukmi. Continues to fire its rockets off at these gunship. And that should do it, and yes it does, sir. Moving back down to here, looks like the chase is not continued. He's in fact going to let him get away. And this helicopter is unfortunate to run through this area again. Whoa, what's going on over here? Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, let's speed this game up. It's just a matter of getting some of these commands here. The helicopter is routed, and he'll probably get this. He has to get this command. I don't see why he wouldn't. The Havoc comes in from the back. Now lots of helicopters coming out. Tons of helicopters. Look at all these helicopters. Very late game decision. Maybe just didn't have the funds. Lots of anti-aircraft in the middle of the map. And so there's not going to be a lot that can be done for Ice Radio, who is pulling his command away. Or maybe he's throwing it into the enemy and actually throwing in the towel, which is probably more likely. Doing a late game move that he should have done earlier in the game, moving his command over to Lima. A little late. Actually very late at the very end of the game. Pretty big win for FulgorAlt, who moves on to the round 3, the round of 300 people. And Ice Radio USA.net is eliminated from the tournament for a fairly good reason. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.